Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where things are going reasonably well right now. We do need to get our colony down here that apparently exists connected up, and so we're building this port here in order to do that. So once that gets done, that should help matters pretty dramatically, but we are colonizing and we are building up our economy. We've hit the 5 million GDP mark, and that's great. We're really happy about that. We do need to get this market access up, but that's more a jobs issue than a building issue. We don't need additional buildings really for that. We need our existing buildings to fill up. Wood and tools are both currently expensive. I didn't actually necessarily expect tools to be expensive right now. Let's take a quick look at that. Is that a jobs issue as well? Actually, no. Noted. So we should actually expand our tooling workshop. Now I moved that to the top here. I'm going to actually place that down below this logging camp, because we're going to need more iron eventually, and the logging camp wood is currently expensive right now. So maybe something like this would do. Yeah, we could do something like that. That would be fine. And our iron prices, our iron issue is primarily that of employment, right? But also, the fact is that iron is quite cheap right now. So realistically, we should not be building iron mines for the moment. Let's move these logging camps up to do something kind of like this. And we'll see if the price of iron comes up by the time we finish this logging camp. We'll see about that. Our increased investment in law enforcement institution is now at 5. That's very good for us. That will help our radical situation, of which there are a lot. And the primary reason for that, of course, is because we are chilling on an unacceptable government here. There's not really anything we can do about that at this moment. Maybe we can get away with enacting professional army. That'll help the armed forces, but I don't know how much that will really truly help. So we'll see. We will see. Our colonization is proceeding apace, and we're going to be finishing up this port in a couple of weeks. Oh wow, we actually got professional army there. That was only a 14% chance. Well now. That's actually really good. So that puts us up to a contested government. So we're no longer gaining radicals per month because of that. That may drift down over time, but for the time being, that's looking good. We're going to finish up this port. And what do we actually have for peasants here? Not many, but this will at least give us some form of connection here. So we'll no longer have this isolated state region. There we go. Beautiful. So that's done, and now we're working on both wood and tools here. I actually want to switch these around. Work on the logging camps, or rather the tooling workshops and then the logging camps. That'll work. Police brutality, huh? Well... Oh, we would actually change the investment level of the institution down by 1. Armed forces would be happy, though, so we'll do that. It's, I'm sure going to be great. We're going to have our mutual funds done pretty soon. That will help our minting. And we're actually making a lot from minting. Wow, 7.9k right now. I like it. So the next step is definitely dynamite. No doubt about that. Or is there doubt? Now that I'm reconsidering that, iron costs are low right now. What's our coal cost? Also low. So dynamite is not actually a super high priority. Increasing that throughput wouldn't be huge for us. In that case, increasing our population becomes the next priority. So what do we go for to increase our population? Well, that pretty much means going into... Let's see, not necessarily human rights. Labor movement, I think. Yes, that gives us max workplace safety office institution investment. But does that unlock the institution? Do we need a law for that? Let's see, labor rights are here. Yeah, I think we have to go down to regulatory bodies for that. Now, nobody supports that currently. But for the moment, that might be okay. We do have some states in turmoil, and we do have some high tension right now. For the moment, that's reasonable. And I want to check in on our pop here. Yeah, there's no migration coming in here currently. We are running this greener grass campaign, but is that actually helping us? I feel like it isn't. So let's cancel our greener grass campaigns. There we go. So now we have a bunch more authority. We could theoretically toss that into consumption taxes. But these don't make us very much. Not at all. So I don't think that's a great idea. Unless we were to tax meat. But I don't think that's a great idea either. So for now, I think this is reasonably okay. Industrialists are no longer saying minus 10% manufacturing tax. Okay, cool. And it's reactivated, and it's deactivated. Okay, well, that's kind of fluctuating. For now, that's fine. I definitely do want to start getting our healthcare up. So getting our health system up to either private... Honestly, any of this would be good. Because any amount of mortality reduction would be amazing for us. Keeping people in the workforce, rather than being dead, would be huge. We're definitely very interested in that. We're going to have some expansions down here momentarily. That'll be great. And we can look here. Okay. So there are a few unemployed people in Buenos Aires, but not that many. We are working on colonizing these areas. And that is all looking good. So I want to double check, particularly in Cordoba. Yeah, we just don't have people employed in our railways. And I think a big part of that is that transportation isn't expensive enough. Or maybe engines and coal are too expensive? Engines, coal, wood. Noted. So let's take a look here at our motor industry. This is negative due to the price of steel. So we need to increase the price of steel if we want to affect that. This would be quite negative in Buenos Aires right now. So I didn't actually want to expand that. I wanted to go to the... No, I didn't want to expand it again. Let's stop that. There we go. So I wanted to go in here and take a quick look. Okay. Noted. I do think expanding our steel mill would be wise. So let's go ahead and get that going. And I think prioritizing that at the top is good. I think that'll be okay. Untrained hands, huh? Children working in the tooling workshops in Buenos Aires have suffered injuries trying to operate the machinery used in production. After examining the boy's hand, the doctor sat down, turned to the mother, and sighed deeply. Well, I'm afraid your son is never going to become a great musician, he said. But then again, perhaps that was never one of his more likely prospects. So we could get child labor restrictions, minus 10% dependence income, or plus 2% mortality of laborers employed in manufacturing. We can't afford that. We cannot have that mortality going up. Our population is our biggest asset here. We need to have that population continuing to grow at a marked rate. We're going to have an issue either way. This is going to hit our GDP. But that's okay. Yeah, we can see the price of steel and tools have actually skyrocketed here. We did finish up that tooling workshop, though, so this should improve matters. And our steel mill will help things along a bit as well. So that's all well and good. And these states are currently in turmoil. We do need to bring our standard of living up. That's for sure. There are a few ways to do that. But none of them are particularly possible for us right now. That's the thing. Enact free trade, huh? That doesn't really help us. So we don't really need free trade at this moment. Tools are expensive, yes. We are working our way up here, but our primary cost here, our primary cost center is in steel. Wood is expensive as well, and coal is actually reasonably expensive right now as well. So we should bump up our coal mine. I just want to check here. Our coal mine is only down here, correct? Correct. And this is actually losing money right now due to the cost of tools. So obviously we need to complete our steel mills here. That's very obvious. And I want to hop into our construction here and grab those coal mines. Where are they? We'll get a coal mine expansion done here, but not here. We want that coal mine expansion to be done sometime around, I'm thinking here. So after this logging camp is done. Cool. We'll get that going. We almost have our minting done. It should be done this week. Maybe not this week. It should be done this week. Fantastic. So plus 10% minting, and the interest rate isn't very relevant, but we do have publicly traded available for all of this. Do we want to employ more capitalists? Probably not, is the answer. Probably not. That said, paper mills can go to water tube boilers, and they can also go to sulfite pulping. How are we doing on sulfur, though? We have basically no sulfur right now. So if we were to do that, we would need to move up our sulfur mine. Like this. Which I think isn't necessarily the worst idea. That'll be fine. And we could theoretically go to publicly traded. If we had the capitalists, which I don't think we do. We can't do that for motor industries or steel mills right now. So obviously we need to go back to pulp pressing for the time being. Tools and coal are still very expensive. So I think that we need to have the steel mill be the higher priority and then the sulfur mine. And as far as this goes, I want to find a way, well, labor movement would be good. Pharmaceuticals might be okay too. That unlocks private and public health insurance in the health system. Let's go ahead and grab pharmaceuticals here. That's only 7 to 12 months away. And that will hopefully allow us to really start skyrocketing our population soon. Because that's what we really need more than anything. We're getting to the point now where we just don't have enough people to work the jobs that we're building. So that's why we're not really very focused on getting additional construction built at this time. We just can't keep up with it for the moment. So that's okay. We will get this steel mill done. At the very least, that'll get us economy of scale. We also have a bunch of turmoil, but it's not really doing too much to us in terms of unrealized taxes for the moment. I would like to see this number of radicals go down a bit. It's mostly going up due to decreases in standard of living and being fired from buildings. Okay. Well, there's hydraulic cranes. I'm not too concerned about that right now. Cool. And that market access is just kind of chilling for the moment. Our lack of workers is definitely a problem. There's no doubt about that. Pharmaceuticals will hopefully help with that, and then we'll be able to go to, like, public health insurance. The industrialists will be very upset, but I think that's okay. With any luck, we'll be able to get that passed. So we are building up a good amount of gold reserves for the moment. That's okay. We definitely don't hate that. And we're finishing up this steel mill now. So steel should be much better. And that should make tools a lot more profitable at this point. Now, these fishing wharves, they are what they are. We just lack people for the moment. Things would be much more profitable if we had workers. No doubt about that. So looking at this steel mill here, the price of steel is going to be dropping very shortly. Assuming that we can get our employees employed, right? That's the big assumption here. Now, we have gotten about 20,000 people, I think, since we started this episode. We're at, I think, 1.02 million. So, obviously, we are getting some migration. There's no doubt about that. That is good. Are we getting migration over here? What's our migration attraction? I'm sure we can see that somewhere. I'm not currently seeing the migration attraction here. But we are definitely growing by 2k here. That's not bad. Growing by 300 here. Yeah, it's not amazing. There's no doubt about it. Our GDP has dropped a little bit, but we have managed to recover that reasonably well. And our sulfur mine is going to be done in just 5 weeks here. That's excellent. So this logging camp will be done 2 weeks after that. Possibly even... Well, no, it's probably going to be 2 weeks after that. Yeah, 0.09 progress each week. It's almost no progress per week. But that's fine. Enact landed voting political movement, huh? Well, we're probably not going to do that. We are, after all, trying to run an autocracy here. So that'll be okay. This coal mine is now underway, and this logging camp will be done in 2 weeks. But now that that sulfur mine is done, the question is that getting any employees? I'm not even sure that there's any demand for it. Not really. There's not really any demand right now, but we can manufacture demand by going into our paper mill and going to sulfite pulping. There we go. Beautiful. Baking powder has been unlocked. Cool. We don't have any food industries, so that doesn't really help us. So we're going to finish this logging camp here shortly. And wood is still expensive, but that will increase our throughput. Even if we're not getting fully done with our employees here. Our throughput is still going up due to economy of scale bonuses. So that's fine. 1.05 million now. This is definitely going up faster than 0.63%. That's good and very necessary. So I do still think... Remote social mobility would give education access and qualifications. I think that's not a terrible idea right now. Buenos Aires, Santa Fe, and Cordoba. We can promote social mobility there, and hopefully that will bump up our literacy, because we know we're having a problem. We have a problem with providing laborers, yes, but we also have a problem with providing educated employees. Both of those are problematic, and the root of both of those problems is the same. We just don't have enough people. But being able to educate some of these new people that we're getting would be really nice. We are certainly growing at an exponential rate, but it hasn't really started taking off yet. It will get there. So tools and wood are still expensive here, and I'm expecting that the reason for that is simply lack of workers. Yes. Well, actually, the problem is the price of steel when we bump up our tooling workshop. Our steel mill is very profitable, but it requires a lot more laborers. Okay. And that price will come down a bit. The price of iron is a little bit up. The price of coal is quite up. And we're working on a coal mine right now. So that's okay. And we're going to have a couple of logging camps here, but then a bunch of iron mines. There's our pharmaceuticals done. Okay. So from here, we can make our way over this direction if we wanted to. But I don't think we need to. Labor movement is, I think, the way to go here for the Workplace Safety Office. So we start to work on labor movement, and then we go into our politics here. And it must be above 0% through support from an interest group in government, a political movement, or your ruler's ideology. So now we need to wait for an interest group to start a political movement for better healthcare. That's what we need right now, is more people, which means more healthcare. And also higher workplace safety. Both of those would do wonders for us right now. So working up those institutions would be great. I wouldn't mind working up our colonial affairs institution, but the fact of the matter is, we're only going to go so far as colonization goes, right? There's only a few locations down here that we can colonize, and we're going to be done with those reasonably soon enough. So I'm not too concerned about that. We are building multiple logging camps at this moment. I'm going to move up this iron mine and do something along the lines of that. I do think moving a coal mine is probably still a good idea just for economy of scale purposes. And we place that about here. Cool. So something along the lines of that. And we're at 1.05 million right now for our pop. Cool. So we're definitely growing there. Also growing is our number of radicals, but it's not growing anywhere near as quickly as it has been. We can't get any higher in our government reform, unfortunately. We have to get up to 75 legitimacy to gain loyalists. That's a lot of legitimacy, no doubt about it. We are still working on increasing the clout of the armed forces, but that takes time. So that's okay. We are running a sulfur input goods shortage. I'm not shocked about that, considering the fact that we have 57 employees in our sulfur mine. Okay. Noted. So this is just oscillating between producing some sulfur and producing no sulfur. So perhaps we need an export route of sulfur. That's a possibility. So an export route here to create demand. Yeah, we can't create one. Okay, that's fine. We'll just get more sulfur later on. All we needed was a single mine so that we would be able to supply our paper mill. That's all we needed. So I'm not too concerned about sulfur right now. This input goods shortage will exist now and then, but it shouldn't exist forever. So we only have a tools input goods shortage right now. And looking in on that, it is profitable at this employment level. But we have an input goods shortage of steel. And that's simply due to a lack of employment. That's all there is to it. Okay. Sounds good. I'd also like to bring down the cost of coal and iron. And getting dynamite would actually help us on that front at this time. We're on labor movement right now. But that probably doesn't help us in the short term. That's like more of a medium-term thing. So I think I'm going to swap over to dynamite here. So we get dynamite. That will help our mine throughput dramatically. So that way we don't have to build these iron mines quite as aggressively. Because they don't really help us all that much, to be honest. Our GDP has dropped somewhat. And I believe that's just due to imbalances here. Well, the turmoil is some of it. I think that's probably true. But the radical count is actually reducing right now. So that's good. That's very, very good. And looking at our construction queue here, it's lengthy, no doubt about it. And we're going to have more things to construct. But that's fine. So steel we can see is very expensive. Engines are not as expensive. Tools dropped in price. That's all good. But what we really need to do here is get our raw resource production up. Dynamite will help a lot with that. So let's get our dynamite completed. That's going to be done in 7 years, which is a ways out. No doubt about that. Our literacy is slowly drifting upwards, and we're now up to 1.06 million population. So our population is definitely increasing at a reasonable margin. But we need more. A lot of this population increase is likely due to our colonizations, actually. I think that's very likely. We do have some tax waste going on, but only 181 unrealized taxes, so I'm not too concerned about that. I'm hoping that we see a healthcare system pop up over here in the political movements. It doesn't seem likely at this moment, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Tools are still expensive, and we've still got some market access issues. But these market access issues are pretty much exclusively due to not having populace here. So getting the cost of our engines down would help that a lot, actually. Now, our motor industries are losing money due to the price of steel and tools. So we need to solve those underlying supply chain problems before we can really get our market access up. That's very, very clear. Yeah, the price of steel is just bouncing around here. We need to get these employees in here. We can't publicly trade this. That's fine. But the cost of iron is up a little bit. The cost of coal is up a bit. The cost of tools is actually down slightly right now. So that is helpful for us. But we need to get these other constructions completed. But more importantly, we need to get people to work in them. We're definitely outpacing our population growth in terms of our jobs growth. There's no doubt about that. No doubt at all. So dynamite will help our production there. But that's kind of a band-aid. That's kind of a band-aid. What we really need to do, I mean, just getting women in the workplace would be a big bonus. That would be a 10% increase there. That's not insignificant. Not insignificant at all. Labor movement would be good as well. But that would be exclusively about that workplace safety and decreasing our mortality. That would be the primary benefit there. We need more people. That is our biggest goal at this moment. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to work on growing our population. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Kadra, Unisol, and all the rest. And, of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.